Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. We really do appreciate it. My name is Cheryl Krisman. I'm with FileOnQ, and you guys are so lucky today to have such a great expert presenting for you today. We're going to be talking about Quartermaster on Q, which is a product that our presenter Shannon Turner has a lot of experience with and has helped a lot of different organizations be very successful because of it. Um, I want to acknowledge somebody else here as well. Amanda Lotta is our head of marketing at FileOnQ. She's the person that arranges all of these free classes for you guys, and she does a fantastic job of it. So you'll be getting emails from her right after the presentation, maybe asking some questions and things like that. So I want to thank Amanda so much for putting this together and for Shannon taking time to present this for us today. We really do appreciate both of you sharing your time with us and your knowledge. Just as a quick aside, there is a Q&A box that you can find on your screen there. And if you have any questions throughout the class, just go ahead and put those in that Q&A box, and we will have somebody answer those for you and then address them at the end of the class. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Shannon. Shannon, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that nice introduction. Welcome to Wednesday. It's hump day. I should have had a slide with the Geico camel going, Mike, 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 Mike. What day is it? It's good to have you all here. We're going to talk about quartermaster. So in case you wondered where the word quartermaster came from, it's actually a military term. You had to go see the quartermaster to get all of your supplies and your equipment and that kind of thing. And some agencies have kept that terminology. Some just call it, equipment or asset management or something like that. So something you didn't know, right? So I'm going to just jump in here really quick and get into it. Also, if you have questions, you can raise your hand or you can type a question in the chat area and we'll answer them. And I'll have plenty of time at the end for questions as well. One of the things that I really like about FileOnQ is the offering that we have for our databases. You have one screen to work with, and you get to decide how this screen is designed. So if you went on a field trip and you went to 10 different agencies that use FileOnQ, you'll probably see 10 different types of screens because everything below this blue line, you get to decide what it looks like. So the one that I'm going to use today is one that I put together where I have, oh, actually, I forgot to talk about this part. When you first get the system, we did decide what these fields are, and you have a lot of options. So you have like text fields, check boxes, date and time, fields that are required, fields that turn off and on. There are a lot of options. So the one that we're doing today, I have designed to cover a lot of different types of things. So for the category, I have a drop down. So like if you chose equipment or assets or supply, it would turn on these fields right here. If you chose guns, it would be these fields right here that say gun type. Or if you chose vehicles, it would turn on the vehicle fields. So I will show that to you here in a live database in here just a moment. I also have information here for UPC codes and the quantity on hand and when you need to reorder things. And then I have a section here at the bottom about the items. So like the vendor that it was purchased from, maybe you have a specific contact name there at the vendor. You want their email or their phone number. Um, I also have a field for the purchase price because every field on here is searchable. And if there's a field on here, you can run a report on it or print a report on it. So having the purchase price, now you could go back and say, I want to know how much we spent on ballistic vests last year, and it will, total it up and give you a price of how much you spent. I have the date of purchase, which is for going in and running reports on what you bought when, and also calculating maybe the warranty. If you wanted to even add the PO number, you could do that. Grant information. I know that vests, sometimes guns, other things are purchased off grant money, and you can put the name of the grant in here that it was purchased from. You also can have a warranty like 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, no warranty. And then for things that have a lifespan, like pepper spray or vests, they have an expiration date. So those are some of the things that I put on my screen to help me with all of my processes. Now, not only though is this profile screen flexible when you first get the system, but it's flexible to change as your needs change. We own a patent on something called the profiler, and the profiler is what allows us to provide this off-the-shelf system, but customize it to meet your needs. So we will install it there at your department, teach you how to use it. So you can add fields, you can change the name of the fields, you could maybe move them to a different location. If you decide we're just not using this field, we don't need it, you can delete it. And the beauty of this is you can make these changes yourself. You don't have to ask permission from FileOnQ. Of course, we'll help you if you would like help. And you can do this as often as necessary. There's no cost at all to make modification to this screen. Okay, any questions so far, Cheryl, that have popped up?
I don't have any questions right now. And
Okay.
again, as a reminder, there's a little question screen. If you have anything as we go along, just go ahead and pop it in that screen.
Yep. So you also get to use your own descriptions. So like under gun make, you might want to only have the type of the make of the gun that you guys carry. You don't need to have the entire list of every gun in the world. So you just put in the ones that you guys have. Uniform type, you can put in very specific types of uniforms. I've got equipment types. Um, the nice part about this too is that with the right permissions, you can modify or you can change any one of these that you need to. You don't have to call IT and ask them to help you. Another thing that we want to do is help you become more paperless when it comes to managing all of your equipment and assets. So there's a tab here on the profile screen, I'll show you that here in a minute, that says documents. So if you have any kind of documents that are associated with this item, so for example, maybe you want to attach a photo. Maybe you got some equipment and it was damaged and you want to take pictures of it. Or in this example, there was a car that looks like got into a really bad accident. And I attached a photograph of the vehicle that was damaged. You could drop in user manuals, warranty information, purchase orders, grant info, work orders, whatever type of information or document that you want to attach. And all you have to do is drag and drop the file into this little bullseye, this target here, and then you can add specific notes or keywords to go back and search in the future. Let's talk about user groups and permissions. You can decide who has access to the system, and then you can also decide when they're in the system, what can they do? You can have view only, where they can only go in and just look up maybe what's assigned to them. Or you could have separate groups. Let's say that you have a user group just for your fleet, for your cars, and they're the only people who are allowed to see the fleet. Um, I noticed I had that set this morning. I was trying to come up with vehicles and it kept saying no records found. And I said, I know I have vehicles in here. Why can't I see them? And I realized I had in my user group, I had gone in as an example and turned on that record security where I wasn't allowed to see vehicles. So you could have as many or as few user groups as you want. Now, before I get into the nitty-gritty of it, you may have all of your information that you're tracking now, and that comes to a good question for you. We have a poll. Um, I'm curious what your type of system you're using now for managing all of your equipment. Do you have that ready, Cheryl?
Let's see.
If not, that's okay. We can do it
I
later.
don't. I don't.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So
No worries.
you might be using it in maybe just Excel spreadsheets that you're using, and you've got one for your guns and one for your vests, and that's a lot of Excel spreadsheets. Um, or maybe you have a standalone actual quartermaster software, but it might not be doing what it needs to for you. Or maybe it's just all on paper. I worked with an agency several years ago. They had 2,800 officers. That's the size of a small town. And everything was on paper. It was cards. Each one of the 2,800 officers had a card with all of the equipment issued to them on the card. So we have all that to tell you that we have a built-in import-export feature. So if you have it all in Excel spreadsheets, we can take those Excel spreadsheets and import all that information into the system for you. Or even if it's in a standalone quartermaster system, if you can extract the data out, then we can put that data into your new QuartermasterOnQ system. This is a screenshot of what that mapping looks like. We just map old field to new field, and then it just runs and tells you how many errors you have, and then you can go fix those errors. Okay, let's get into the fun stuff, and that's managing all of this equipment. So there's a couple different types of items that you are going to manage in the system. The first is serialized items. These are, I call them the high dollar, high ticket items. Vests, guns, tasers, radios, anything that has a serial number that you need to track individually. Um, Now, this is a barcode system, so you can use barcode technology to manage all of your assets and equipment. Perhaps on the vest, you want to use the manufacturer's barcode. You might not be familiar. On the underside, you turn it upside down and you open the Velcro, and there's usually a barcode that's sewn into it. So just use that barcode in as the barcode in the system, and you don't have to worry about putting another barcode on it. Or that you might have the front plate and the back plate, and each one has a barcode, and so you would have the front plate and the back plate as assets. For your guns, if you wanted to, you could use the serial number as the barcode of the gun. You could also have FileOnQ create a barcode number for the gun, or the Colorado State Patrol, they have an application that quartermaster application from us that manages all of the guns that are in their entire state. Sorry, I was grabbing a jacket because I'm freezing cold. Just reality here. Um, so what they did is they purchased these sturdy plastic barcodes that they put on the pick rail of the gun that you can see here in this picture. Okay, so in addition to barcodes that represent your equipment, we also have barcodes that represent locations. So what do we mean by locations? Whatever might happen to this item. So if you're going to assign it out, I've got a person like John Baker, one of my favorite detectives that I worked with. I've got destroyed for things that just get destroyed after if they're no longer in use. We have a status like in stock or return to inventory. I have a location called return to vendor. So a location can be a person, it can be a place, it could be a status, it could be a specific division. Like you don't want to say it went to John Baker. You could say this is assigned to the SWAT team. Okay. So now I'm going to stop my handy dandy PowerPoint and I'm going to come over to a live database here. Okay. Once your assets, your equipment, your all of those things are put into the database, then you manage it from this Quartermaster tab right up here on the top left. I'm circling it and it says QM. I'm going to click on QM. Now let's assign some things to somebody. Up here at the top, you tell it what you're going to do. So I'm going to assign some items and I'll use myself. So I'm going to scan the barcode that says Shannon Turner and it populates it right here. If you didn't happen to have a barcode scanner handy, you could just click on these little three dots and you could choose who it's going to go through to from this list. And then I am going to scan some of these high ticket items for Shannon. So I'm going to say, let's give me a gun and a laptop and a shotgun and a vest and a portable radio. All right, that looks like enough. Well, not enough to do my job, but for now. So we have, let's say we have this policy that the big ticket items require a signature. And so I'm going to leave these check marks right here that says prompt for signature and print a receipt. I'm going to assign this out. And it asks me, why are you giving this to Shannon Turner? So let's say it's a new hire issue. And then you could put in a comment like, good luck, going to need it. Uh, May the force be with you. With you. Now I click on OK. And it enables a signature pad. It's just like the ones that you use like at the doctor's office, and the bank and that kind of thing. And so the person that you are giving this equipment to, they sign their name one time and it takes this signature and attaches it to the audit trail, the chain of custody, if you will, of each one of these items. Now I click on accept. And since I said I wanted a receipt, it's going to pop up with a receipt. And then it will have a receipt. It'll have a description of all the items. I need to modify mine. So that is how you would issue things. Now returning is really the same thing. So return the items. Who did you receive it from? I received it from Shannon Turner. And let's say I'm going to say returned it to the inventory. Oops, sorry, Shannon Turner. There we go. And it was received at, we'll say return to inventory. Why is it not doing that? Oh, that was a me thing. Sorry about that. Okay, cancel that. There we go. And it was returned to the inventory. And what am I giving back? Let's say I'm going to bring back the shotgun because there was something wrong with it. So I'll scan the shotgun and then I'll say I'm receiving this. Why am I receiving it? Let's say that I need a replacement. We click on OK, and then it enables that signature pad again, and then you guys can sign your name and click on accept. There we go. And it doesn't have to print a receipt. If you take that check mark off, it won't print the receipt. So that's how you will manage. Let's come back to this handgun though. So here's the handgun that I assigned to Shannon Turner, and it shows me where this handgun is. It's with Shannon Turner, and it was put there on February 4th, and this is the person that issued it. So now let's go over to the other type of item that we're going to manage. Just a moment. Here we go. Okay. I like to have some visuals while I'm talking. Oh my goodness, that was not. Sorry. There we go. I had too many windows open. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we first talked about items that have serial numbers, and we're going to track those individually. Now we're going to talk about more generic type of things that would have a UPC code, meaning you might purchase it in volume, in 4, 5, 10, 30 at a time, and then you might issue them, but they're also types of things that might be consumables. So like, batteries or a first aid kit or, ammo, those are kinds of things that are going to be absorbed, right? So anything that you might order in mass and issue out in mass, those we're going to call UPC items. And so the first thing that we do is we create a record for each type of item. So you can see in this example, I've got my double magazine holder and I've got 35 on hand and I need to reorder when I get down to 10. And then we're going to create this master UPC book. Let me give you an example. You know how when you go to Home Depot and you buy some 2x4s and some sheetrock and 2x6s and a bunch of stuff, okay? You get up to the checkout counter and they grab that bright orange 3-ring binder, Home Depot orange, and they flip the binder pages until they find the barcode that represents, say, a 2x4. And so they scan it out of the binder and then they put in the quantity of 2x4s that you're purchasing. So this is the exact same concept as you have 35 on hand, you want to reorder at 10, and then we've got them in our master book. So anytime you want to check something out and issue UPC items, when I scan it, it knows that it's a UPC. So it pops up with another prompt and it says, oh, this is a UPC. Here's how many you have on hand. How many do you want to assign? So you scan the officer's barcode, you scan the master UPC from the book, you indicate the quantity of the items, and then you get their signature if you need it. If you don't need signature, you can just bypass that part. And so what will happen is when you assign items, it will count down. It will reduce the amount of items on hand. But maybe if I got some ammo, I need, 3 things of ammo, and I come back and I say, I shot 1, I'm returning 2. So when you return items that are UPC, it will adjust the quantity on hand. So when it returns, you have how many were returned and how many were consumed. So then it will count up. So you'll always use that one same UPC code and then just indicate how many you're distributing, and it will count down. You can also distribute items, the same items, to a group of officers. So let's say that I've got some new people out of the academy, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people out of the academy. And so I'm going to issue them all some cuffs. So I scan cuffs and then say, I want to issue it to all these. And now I'm going to do, a flashlight and a pepper spray case and a cuff case and yada, yada, yada. And so you can just make a distribution list of the same item that you're giving to a whole bunch of people. So you'll scan each officer's barcode or just select from the list right here, and then it will issue it to them. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to stop my PowerPoint again, come back to our database. There we go. Let's say that, let's scan that shotgun that I brought back, and let's say we discovered that there was a crack in the stock of it. We needed to return it to the vendor. So I'm going to scan, return to vendor. I have his barcode and I scanned it. Now, if you look up above the blue line, this shows you it was returned to the vendor on this date and this time. Now, I'm going to put in a note about why it was returned to the vendor. So I'm going to click on notes and I'm going to say, cracked stock. Click on OK. and then I can return that to the vendor. Um, they will either fix it or send us a new one. Let's go through quick breath though to make sure that there aren't any questions so far that I need to address.
So
Okay.
looks like Carlene said that she uses Omnigo. Is there
Okay.
anything you'd like to talk about that system versus this system, what they cover, where there may be holes, things like that?
If you'd asked me 5 or 6 years ago, I would say yes, but Omnigo used to be called QTEL. And when it was QTEL, I actually knew quite a bit about it, but QTEL was sold and bought out by Omnigo, which is a big CAD RMS company. And I haven't seen it in several years. And so I don't have anything that I can offer right now. I don't want to say anything that wouldn't be accurate. But we can also do an analysis and go through like line by line what type of feature FileOnQ has and what type of feature Omnigo has, and do a comparison of each type of functionality.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure, yeah. Okay, let's go through how to search for things. Um, I am looking for a firearm that is a Glock 20 caliber. Do I have a 20 caliber on here? Nope. A 40 caliber. Jeez. Okay. And now I just hit enter. Oh, there aren't any in there. Okay, so how about I'm just going to say, show me all the Glocks. And I hit enter. And I've got 38 Glocks. So let's take a look at those 38 Glocks. Here they are. And this can tell you, where they are. So one's returned to inventory. I don't have these issued out. These are all in stock. I can mix and match any field or combination of fields. So, you could go in and you could say, I'm looking for vests that were purchased in 2022, 5, 6, actually 21. And then that would give me a list of all the ones that were purchased in 2021. Um, so you can mix and match every field or combination of fields on here. Other ways that you can search, though, you can search by the current location. So let's go in and find that stuff that we assigned to Shannon Turner. So I'm going to click on Equipment by Officer and click on Shannon Turner and hit search. I've got 10 items. Let's take a look at those 10. I've got browse. So let's sort by the equipment type. I've got handgun. Here's a list of all of the things that I have. I don't have a lot of uniform. I'm thinking I'm going to be cold. Um, and so this will just tell you everything that's assigned to Shannon. Here's another scenario. Let's say that Shannon is going to retire, which she is. So Shannon's going to retire, and Amanda finds out, oh, Shannon's going to retire. Hey, I got to give her a list of all the stuff that's assigned to her so she can turn it back in before she retires. So I went in and I said, show me my equipment by officer, clicked on Shannon. There's the 10 items. And then I'm going to print an actual list. And I am going to, you could either print the list, put it in my box, say, here's the stuff, or you could just export it and save it as a PDF and email it to Shannon, say, you have an appointment with me on the 23rd to bring back all of your stuff. That and yours won't say Colorado State Patrol. Let's look at some other ways to search the system, okay? If you go up to the File menu, we've got Query by Current Location. So that's what I use to search for everything for Shannon Turner, or show me everything that's in deadlined or auctioned or return to vendor. You can query by date ranges. So when things were created or transferred, you can scan a group of items together and do something with the group. Um, you can search by the notes log. So I could go back in and search for that notes that said that was returned to the vendor. You can also query by text, which is a global search that searches the entire database. You can also have custom queries. So custom queries, I'm going to come back to my, there we go. Okay, so I did those. Custom queries are the ability to go in and create any kind of search or report that you're looking for. So maybe it says, show me all the items where the expiration date is coming up in the next month, or show me all the equipment and sort it by who has what. Show me all the equipment that's assigned to specific vehicles, or show me the total amount that was spent in this budget year on specific types of things. Or maybe I need a report on everything that was purchased on grants. These are completely unlimited. You can even have my vests that are due to expire. So you can reach out and tell the officer or the deputy your vest is going to expire and get a new one. These are completely customizable, and the nice thing about them is you only have to create them once. You create it, you give it a name, and you save it, and then it will just show up on your toolbar, and you click on that and run it off of your toolbar. The system will produce as many forms and reports as you need it to. So this is the history of this portable radio and who's had it. This is a report that Colorado State Patrol has for all of the UPC items that were issued. So we've got like a list of what it was and then how many were assigned. So the OC triple chaser, we had 10 assigned, 5 returned, 8 were disposed. That doesn't add up. I'm wondering why. Anyway, um, and then now this one is a list of all the equipment that's assigned to someone and a description of each item and the history of each item. And then this is the one I just showed you that was something that could be printed and emailed to a person with a list of the equipment. The next thing that I would like to talk about is automated notifications. This is an optional part of the system that you don't have to get if you don't need it or don't have the budget for it. But these are automated actions. So let's say that you want to have an email sent to the officer that it's assigned to within 3 months of expiration. And then it could count down. If they don't come in and swap it out, then they will get one at 2 months and then a one at 1 month. And then maybe it could even go to, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week. I'm not sure what we should do if it gets down to, hey, your vest is expired. Pull them off patrol or something. Or let's say that you want to have an automated email sent to yourself when the quantity on hand reaches that reorder point for certain things. So you would get an email that says, hey, you need to purchase this, 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 and this because it's gone below that threshold for ordering. Or if you're using it to manage your vehicles, it could be that vehicle is due for its 3-month service. Or maybe a weapon is due for inspection. Or maybe you checked out a loaner and it's been checked out for too long and the loaner needs to come back. So the notification triggers, each agency uses it differently. And so we will just work with you on your own procedures and processes to determine how you would best use this. One thing that I wanted to, hold on just a second, really quickly. One thing that I wanted to also show you is another application that I don't know how large agencies are who are in attendance. But if you are a smaller agency, you could easily track, all of your fixed assets and your equipment and your guns and your cars in one database. Very easy. But let's say, though, that you're in a very large agency like Miami. Miami has several FileOnQ databases, and they have one just for their vehicles. Um, and so this screen is designed just to manage a car. So you can see that it's got all the very specific information about the vehicle number, the year, the color, that kind of thing. But you've got, what kind of bar lights it has, what kind of, push bumpers, prisoner partition, you name it. You can get very specific with all the items that are in that vehicle. And then they have their locations are places like it's in the ready line, it needs to be issued to someone, or it could be assigned to a person. So maybe I will just assign this to Tara Riley, and then you can see that this vehicle is issued to Tara Riley. And with their system, they have about 1,500 officers. They give their officers access to this fleet management module, and they can go in, they enter in their vehicle number, and then put in a request for routine service. And then they know the person managing the fleet knows that they're going to bring that in and drop it off for service. So I wanted to show you this other screenshot of a quartermaster system that was designed just for managing the fleet. Okay, I'm going to stop right there for a moment and see if we have any questions.
I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay.
So I think you're doing a very thorough job here.
Well, thank you. Um, so I think that this is enough to kind of give you an idea of how the system works and how incredibly flexible it is. I'll close that really quick. I think that there are some other very small nuances that I didn't go into, but I think that this gives you an idea of how versatile and user friendly it is. So if we don't have any other questions, we can also unmute everybody in case people just want to ask a question, verbally. If not, I will give it a second if anybody can think of a question that they wanted to put in.
Fantastic. Again, thank you so much, Shannon. This was really, really eye-opening, and what a great system for everybody to have, um, to control their inventory and find out what's happening within their department. So I really, really do appreciate you taking your time to do this. I just want to bring your attention. This is our next webinar, and we'll be doing a webinar on our TrackOnQ system. And this system is our for sexual assault kits. And if you know anybody who's an advocate or works on that side of it, then this is a great resource, a very important resource, and something that needs to be held accountable. And so please join us. That's going to be on Wednesday, February 11th at 10 a.m. And we are going to have our good friend Susan doing that webinar. She's actually the one who developed this system up in Portland. And she knows the system inside and out. She knows the laws and different things like that. So please, if you can, you can just go ahead and scan this QR code right here and go ahead and register for that. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. So if there aren't any other questions, again, I want to thank Shannon so much, and thank Amanda Latta for putting on these free courses for us. And check back in with us regularly on our socials so that you can see all of the free courses that are coming up. There is another one in March that you can sign up for as well. So I'm Cheryl Kurzman, FileOnQ, and I hope you guys have an amazing and very organized afternoon. Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Bye-bye.